Well, hello, and welcome to Stop Let's Team Up, episode 114. What am I reading this Thanksgiving? This is a quickie episode. I was going to drop the first of which I feel will become an ongoing series of Kirby leading a show. It's Kirby's on his own. It's all him by himself. It will drop next week. That would be the 7th or 8th. It depends on how much recovery I've done from having some dental surgery done. Hence, this is dropping on Monday. Normally would have dropped on the weekend. I decided because of the dental surgery being moved up a week, I'd save Kirby's for next week. I would do a quickie here and maybe tomorrow get a Starman in, because after that, Starman's going to have to pause until I can get some episodes under my belt with a couple guests. So that's that news. So let's get started, because we're going to talk about things I'm enjoying. And I'm just going to jump from a couple things. I've been reading a lot more new books, especially DC All In. If you follow me on the internet, whether it be on Twitter or Blue Sky, please follow us on Blue Sky. Please reach out. I'm going to be more engaged there. Twitter, I'm not engaged. There's just too much negative energy in that place, and I stopped really responding to people because I wasn't sure what I was going to get. I prefer Blue Sky. I prefer Instagram. I live with Facebook. But I'm also on Threads, and I'm also on Mastodon. So I'd love some input. But back to Absolute Power. I read Absolute Power. I read every issue of it. I'm going to do an episode on it. I got to find someone else who's read all of it. If not, I will do it by myself. But I've loved it. I thought it worked. I think it's the best event in decades. Before I do that episode, I'm gonna go through the list of DC events I just air quoted, and pick my top 5 and cover them. But I'm gonna do that right after I do Absolute Power, I think. Unless Absolute Power ends up in my top 5. I've not done a top 5 of that. I don't normally, because it changes. It changes. Sometimes I like it. Sometimes I don't. Read something once, I like it. Read something again, go, oh, no, I missed something. This is good. So, I'm always good, unless something, I really dislike it. But I really loved Absolute Power. I thought it was well constructed. I thought you could read it without any of the individual crossover books, but I think the individual crossover books are really the chapters in a novel that are highlighting single people. The Wonder Woman chapter, the Green Lantern chapter, the Arrow family chapter, the Superman chapter, the Batman chapter. I think it's wonderful. I went on the interweb and was saying this is all part of some big elaborate plan, and it started here, blah, blah, blah. And that's why, if you've been following me, it's why I did that Suicide Squad. I did the War on Earth 3, because I'm catching up on DC events. And with Absolute Power was the end of it. Really the end of this cycle that started with a lot of Jeff Johns stuff. And you know me, I'm a Jeff Johns fan. So this reread, which is meant to get me up to Absolute Power, but going through the Titans book. Because I love Titans. I've not read Titans in years, and was supposed to go through that. So the Absolute Power was great, and it's making me go back, and it may delay that Teen Titans things, because I want to see how everything's really interconnected, but I might just keep going, because I want to read this Titans run. I have not read Titans regularly since New 52. The new version was not for me. As an older guy, it was a teen book. I like teen books, but it wasn't for me. So I haven't read it in a long time. So I'm looking forward to reading that Titans. But I really am coming at it because of the Absolute Power. I loved it so much. I love the Suicide Squad stuff I've read. I'm really, really enjoying it. And it's all leading to the All In. So I've read pretty much most of the first issues of the All Ins. The Wonder Woman, which is the story about her grief over Steve Trevor, I absolutely adored. Tom King is not divisive. People have strong opinions about him on both sides. Love, hate, some in the middle. I really like him. I like him talking about grief and trauma. I like that. My wife likes to say that there's just some trauma in my childhood, and I'm like, it was the 60s and 70s. There was probably something traumatic. We were feral, and but I dig its stuff. So I really enjoyed. I think DC is firing on all cylinders. I think they know what they're doing. I think they're letting Mark Waid kind of lead by example, because now he's doing action. He's still doing World's Finest, 30-some issues in. Hey, man, I'm loving it. I wait for the hardback, so I'm really waiting for volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it 5? 5 to come out. He's just knocking it out. I read the Justice League Unlimited #1. What a follow-up to Absolute Power. I'm not going to spoil it, but the last page really kicked me in the gut, and I loved it. It's amazing. I haven't read his action yet. I have read the Joshua Williams Superman. I've read the Joshua Williams Superman book. Now I'm really confused, and I don't want to go look it up. But I've really become a big Joshua Williamson fan because off of his way too short a run on Green Arrow. But I really want to read it. I want to read more of his stuff. It's like Jeremy Adams. I've been reading his Green Lantern, but I got to catch up. I haven't read all of it. And he's going to be doing Aquaman, so I'm going to read that. But I've read a little bit of everything, and I think everything's good. There's some amazing stuff still to come. I'm going to try to give Power Girl a hint. I think Power Girl is being written by the right people. I think they're trying to garnish gain. They're going to lose people of my age with it, and I did not. And I really wasn't. I read the first 2 issues of the beginning of the series, and it wasn't for me. I didn't think it was bad. I just don't think it was anything there for me as a 60-year-old man. The brassy, one of the guys, Power Girl of the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, she's gone. And I miss her. But I don't know who they're writing it for. And I think part of it is, I think they're writing it more for, they're trying to engage women. And I think that is a good thing. I will give the new one a run. And the good thing about the app is I can go back and read stuff. And I read a lot on the app. I read a lot. I've been getting too many books, but we'll go into that when I get to the trades part of what am I reading. But yes, go for the all-in. It's enjoyable. There's a lot of good stuff. The Challenges of the Unknowns coming up with 3 new members, and they have 3 new members: Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. Bingo. There's a Metamorpho coming out by one of my favorite comic writers. Al Ewing is doing Metamorpho with Steve Lieber. That's it. That's all I got to say. I mean, that's all to say. That book is something that needs to be read. I have no doubt it'll be amazing. I love Al Ewing's work so much, and I haven't even read half of it. I mean, I went into Ollie's and didn't pick up his complete Guardians of the Galaxies for $13 because I thought it'd be easy to get that cheap, and I'm noticing online it's not. I wish I'd gotten it. I did get Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur 1 through 12 in a small trade. I can't wait to read it. My wife's going to read it, and then me and her are going to watch the cartoon, and then she's going to come on as a guest, and we're going to talk about Moon Girl. I thought that'd be fun. But the all-in, the DC all-in is just, I'm all in. That's all I got to say. Every book I've read is either I've enjoyed it, I may not read the series after it because it's just not something I'm as interested in or meant for me. I don't think every comic needs to be meant for everybody. I don't think it's possible. I think I used to say that you should try to do that. I think you should try to write to the audience that you want to write to. And I think companies like Marvel and DC need to, and I think they're doing a good job at it. I think it's way better. I think it is so much better. I can give, my wife's interested in Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. One, because of the cartoon. We want some of the cartoon. But I think they're going, and I think they've hired certain writers, and they're trying to jack that DC's young YA stuff. It is just been amazing. It's just, I think it's what they're doing. I think DC knows what it's doing. This is just amazing. It's just amazing, and it's going good. So I'm going to kind of go through this list of All In. Batman is Chip Zdarsky. I will read that as a whole. I've not read a lot of Chip. Birds of Prey, Kelly Thompson. I love this series, and I need to catch up. Poison Ivy, 26 is the first All In. G. Willow Wilson, who I like. I don't know the artist as much. I'm gonna read that one. Mark Waid is doing action, so I got to keep up with that. Batman and Robin is I don't know. I'm gonna read it. I haven't. I think I've read the first one. I liked it. Catwoman, give it a shot. Green Lantern, Jeremy Adams. Zeramacano is the artist's name. I am enjoying that book. I want to catch up. John Layman is the new writer on Titans because Tim Taylor has left. So I want to give that. Wonder Woman, I'm going to continue to read. Detective is Tom Taylor. And Mikael Janin. Yeah, I'm going to read those. The Flash, I'm going to catch up on Green Arrow. I'm up, and I read issue 1 by Chris Condon and Montos. Absolutely brilliant. I'm going to check out Harley Quinn. I'm not going to check out Nightwing until I've read all of Tom Taylor's run. It is coming out in an omnibus sometime next year, so thank God for that. Leah Williams, who I like, is doing Power Girl. Superman is Joshua Woman, as I said, with Dan Moore doing the art. You couldn't ask for more. Batgirl, I'm going to give a shot. JSA, Jeff Lemire, issue 1 is in. I'm going to hold off on that because the last thing I'm going to talk about, Justice League Unlimited, I already talked about. The New Gods, Ram V, yes, and Evan Coggle. It looks brilliant. Again, Al Ewing and Steve Lemire on Element Man. Green Lantern Corps is Jeremy Adams, Morgan Hampton, and Fernando Pedersen. I love it. There's going to be a Black Lightning mini. I'm looking forward to that. The Question, All Along the Watchtower by Alex Segura. I'm very excited about that. Two-Face, 1 through 12. People are talking. The Challenge is the Unknown miniseries by Christopher Cantwell. I like him, and I like his partner. Justice League, The Atom Project. Read Justice League 1, and you'll understand what that is. And that's John Ridley, Ryan Parrott with Mike Perkins art. Oh, god damn. And then Zatanna, Volume 3, written and drawn by Jamal Campbell. Boom, 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 yes. And One Shots, Green Lantern Corps Special. I read it. I got to look for these. I haven't read these yet. Okay, that's going to segue into the Absolute Universe because that's part of the All In. I've read the first number 1 of all 3. They are absolutely freaking amazing. I like Elseworlds, and if you know, I've been watching I've been reading the Kryptonian Age, Gotham by Gaslight. It's freaking amazing. But this is it. Scott Snyder, I'm not a big Scott Snyder fan. I don't think he's terrible. I just don't think his stories sing to me. His Absolute Batman is singing to me right now. Absolute Wonder Woman, Kelly Thompson. I need to read more of her. Jeff, Absolute Superman, Jason Aaron, Rafa Sandoval. Hey, it's Jason Aaron, and it seemed good. I'm not the 100% sold on. So, okay, ones I'm gonna get: Absolute Flash, Jeff Lemire, Rick Robies, Absolute Green Lantern, Al Ewing. Yes, I'm getting it. An Absolute Martian Manhunter, Dennis Camp. I watched a little. I want to try 20th Century Men. I watched the video. I wish I could remember the guy's name. And him and Javier Rodriguez, who is probably my favorite comic artist right now, doing Martian Manhunter. And they all look amazing. So check those out. I've spent most of almost 10 minutes just raving about DC right now. That's how good I think they're doing. I think that they're firing all cylinders. They just got to capture the imagination of more people. There's a lot of nerves about tariffs and price increases. And I'm of the opinion that's going to happen. As a steady, as a nerd, history nerd, and reading a lot up and kind of paying attention, I think that's going to happen for a while, and then maybe go. I don't know, but I'm going to cut back what I buy. I'm going to pay for another year of the Ultra app because I recommend it. It's $100 and some. You pay that for a year. Pay it for a year. It's cheaper. You can do it by. I think you can do it by the month again, but I think it's pretty pricey. It is worth every penny, man. It is, because I can try out books. And then if I want to, and then I go to my like right now, I try to keep 10 comics in my pull box. And then for Velocity, and then I try to buy an omnibus, a quarter from them, because of, I want to support him, and I'm going to probably get most of the Nightwing omnibuses. They're like 3 omnibus and then a second compendium coming out, and I'm going to get it. So, but I've been buying more because the stuff's good. It's helping his sales, and I want people to go to the comic shops. I just don't have room for floppies. And if I'm going to get something, I want a nice trade. And sometimes I trade up. I buy something else, like the Omnis and stuff, and the book I'm going to talk about at the end. So that's good. Let's talk Marvel. I love Blood Hunt. I really love Blood Hunt. I only read the stuff that I was interested in, and it worked. I've looked at the app, and I'm going to pick up where I left off and read it and share on the internet. So again, folks, please, if you follow me on the internet, kind of interact with some of that stuff. I'm going to read something at the end from a gentleman who just started following me. I would love to hear what you say. I would love to maybe, if you got a comic you want to talk about, that's your favorite and has something special to you, reach out. I'll have you come on and we will talk about your favorite team-up book. But I'm actually liking Avengers now. I'm liking it a real lot. I like all 3 books. There are now 2 more. There's Avengers Assemble. It's all my favorite characters from the 80s and 90s and some more. West Coast Avengers is very interesting and very cool, and I like it. It's a little comedic. It's an odd setup, and it wasn't what I thought it was. And I'm glad it's not. But it's good. I'm enjoying a lot of that stuff. Thor, Al Ewing's writing Thor. I'm waiting until I haven't read but the first 6 issues. Really kind of want to sit down and read all of it. I want to buy his Immortal Hulk. I do want to get all of his stuff. I really want to go, and I wish they would do a Defenders hardcover that had both of his miniseries with Javier Rodriguez, because I think that is one of the best comics. Those are the 12 of my favorite issues of the Defenders ever. I mean, they're that good. But that's about all I'm really reading. I'm jumping into certain things. And I can't even think about it. Where's my read pile? I brought my read pile back here. So we're going to look through this. Skip that for now because that's the last segment. A Lower Decks comic, which I loved. Yeah, it's mostly Avengers. And that's it. And I'm reading the X-Men. So that's the other segue. I'm reading the Avengers. That's about, I'm very Avengers-centric. I don't have an individual superhero. Hawkeye is my guy. And I'm going to get the trades on the last couple minis and stuff like that because it's just... The one with him in Black Widow was good. I read the first couple issues. I liked it. But there's not a lot. But every time X-Men reset, I give it another try. Because folks, I've not covered much X-Men. I think talking about X-Men 45, the original run, which is terrible. I mean, it's really rough. It's really rough. It's one where Stan is trying, and not everything is working. And X-Men doesn't really work, except in the later Thomas issues, and Giant Size 1 on. So I always try to jump in. And I liked Krakoa for a while, and for about 2 years, I got every book and read them in the order they wanted you to, and I got behind, and then it was 2 feet tall. So it was just too much. I have read the first issue of all the new series, or the first 2, depending on what's on the app, because I'm only reading it on the app. I'm liking it all. Both, I've liked all 3 books. Uncanny, Exceptional, and just straight up X-Men. I've liked all of them. The Gail Simone one very much. The one by starring Cyclops. I love the artist. I'm a Stegman guy. And the Beast in it, and it's my Beast because what happened at the end of the Krakoa era. And Exceptional with Kitty and White Queen. Oh my goodness. Speaking Emma Frost, but that's only the first one. I've actually liked NYX. It's about teens and people in their early 20s being that age in New York City and having other stuff going on. I like it. I had fun in my 20s, my 18 from when I graduated high school until about 30-ish. I had a rock and roll good time, and I partied a little too much. I went out to bars and saw bands and hung out with friends and went to parties every weekend and had a really good time during that age where you're supposed to be doing it. But I did it in 1980, so there were drugs involved, and we weren't as careful with our bodies as we should have been. At least not people I hung out with. But you grow up and your body goes, "Hey, just stop doing that." Yeah. No, I don't. No, don't do that again. Yeah. No. Every hangover will be a tequila hangover. So I enjoyed it. I really liked it, and it's kind of the one I've liked the most, which surprised me. And I definitely don't think they're writing it for a 60-year-old guy. I love Ms. Marvel, another book I got to catch up on. Really deep dive because I fell in love with her on the TV show, and I think they're writing her that way. She's in it, one of the Stepford Cuckoos, Laura Kinney, Wolverine, and a character I'm not that familiar with. So it's a learning curve, but I'm enjoying that one. I thought that was kind of cool. I really thought it was the one I was going to like the least, but I've enjoyed it. And I'm a Scott fan. Scott is my X-Men. It's the same reason I like Cap. It's the same reason I like the characters that when they nail the hero right, the leader right. It's maybe because my dad was a general or I don't know what it is. I like the compassionate, thorough leader, So I've enjoyed it, and I like Scott a lot. He's my favorite X-Men. Him and the Beast, but the Beast is an Avenger. Okay? All right, let's go on to Ghost Machine. From Image and Jeff Johns and a list of creators, too many to say, but he is not the only person. I've liked every issue of every comic, including the horror comics, Hyde Street and the one-shot Devour, which was really terrifying. I don't like horror comics. I mean, I don't dislike them. I just don't read them. So I've liked everything about it. I've upgraded my first 6 issues of Geiger and the 80-page giant into the deluxe hardcover. Well worth it. I sold the originals and it paid what that cost me. More than it paid for both. It paid for it and half of the Junkyard Joe hardcover. So great. Really, just some of the stuff, the Blizzard, which leads up to some of the Redcoat. Every book's been good. Redcoat's good. Devour, Hyde Street, the Rocket Fellas. Just the name alone, I dug it. There's a little bit for everybody, and it's really worth. Check out the collected edition. So if you haven't been reading, get it. I do want to talk about some of the omnis and stuff, and I'll go this really quick, but let me pull up my little cheat. All right, so my trusted note is Instagram, because it kind of shows me quickly what I've been reading, because I share it at 3 times. I post 3 times a day. It's ridiculous. I'm on volume 2 of Rom. Rom is coming out in Epic. I saw it. It's coming out. It's solicited in December. So those of us that couldn't wait, I've got the 3 omnis. Check it out. If you love Marvel 80s, 70s Marvel licensed product, and you should. Rom, Micronauts, Godzilla. I got all of them. I love them. I don't. Tory Strike Force, not me, but hey, man, they're putting it down. Now just put out Shogun Warriors. Okay? I'd be happy. The Rom is well worth it. It is a classic. I read the first Superman, so we talked about that. I'm on a reread of Avengers, and the last issue I read was 55, because there was a X-Men in there. I've gotten into this spot where it's really rocking on all cylinders. It's well worth reading. I'm also reading Starman. Well, let's skip over that. I'm reading the Dr. Fate by Paul Levitz and Sonny Liu. If you haven't read it, read it. Go on the app. It is probably one of my favorite Paul Levitz comics in some way, because it is so unique, and I'm happy for him to have done something that unique and that different. I read it as singles on the app, but I read it in the trade, so I read it very quickly, and I read all of them because I was so intrigued. I'm going to do the next trade and read that kind of like that. It works better in trade. I think if I was reading it issue to issue, it may have moved too slow for me. in my crotchety. But it is amazing, well worth it. Let me go down. Oh, I've read a lot of Stargirl recently. Oh, I picked up I'm back into New Warriors. I'm in the issues 39-40. It's really good. I'm enjoying it. I've been reading the Ultimates from Marvel. I forgot about the Ultimates. I've liked the Pat at Velocity Comics said get the Ultimate Spider-Man, and he was right. Upcoming, I'm looking at the list. Secret Society Super Villains, both the first and second volume hardcovers are in the app. They all trapped. Great. I liked the run, the Hopeless run of Hopeless, and someone else wrote it. The last one is Suicide Squad. I like that. I read that. I read some Defenders and talked to Billy about him. You knew about that. I bought some books, so I mean that's kind of what I'm reading. I'm about to jump back into Sixth Gun. I'm in volume 2. That's really good. That's the Cullen Hurt book, and I ordered their damned hardcover just because I liked the Sixth Gun so good. So check that out. I got G.I. Joe Volume 1, but I haven't read it. So there's a lot going on. So what sparked what I'm reading episode was I ordered the JSA Compendium Volume 1. It is beautiful. One, it's got a great cover. It's got a really shiny finish on the thing. It is 1,400 some pages, which is amazing. And so I hadn't bought that. I had thought about buying the 3 Omnis because I like the mapping, and I've learned a lot of this watching Near Mint Condition, and Epic Podcasts and OmniDog and all these really great video people. It's allowed me to understand and help me hone what I want in what format. Like I want to support the compendium market from DC because please, where's your the second volume of Starman? Because you're offering a 4th volume of Milestone, and I hope you do more and more of the Justice Society because great. But this is different mapping. As far as I can tell, there's a lot of stuff in it. The list of things that are in this is JSA Compendium collects JSA 1 through 25, JSA Annual number 1, JSA Secret Files number 1, not Secret Files, All-Star Comics 1 and 2, that's from that trade, the All-Star Comics, and then All-American Comics 1, Adventure Comics 1, Day of Judgment 1 through 5, Day of Judgment Secret Files number 1, Golden Age Secret Files number 1, Hour Man 9 and 18, that's the Rags Morales Hour Man, Martin Manhunter 1819, which I had in those single issues, and I have them, and I'm going to put them up for sale on eBay. I had them because that was part of my continuity, so I I had it in a certain place. National Comics number 1, Sensation Comics number 1, Smash Comics number 1, Sins of Youth, Star Woman in the JSA Junior number 1, Stars and Stripes 8 and 9, Star Spangled Comics, Thrilling Comics number 1, Young Justice 16, Young Justice Sins of Youth 1 and 2. So I have. This is just the JSA centric stuff, but it has the miniseries. It's got all the Day of Judgment. It's got all of the Sins of Youth, and I think that's great. Stories from Stars and Stripes 7, Secret Files, and Origins Guide to DC Universe 2001, Young Justice, Sins of Youth, Secret Files. It is a wonderfully mapped book. There is a trade JSA All Stars, which has a story with the first Mr. Terrific, the second Mr. Terrific, like that. It's great. And I always had that like third after the second, right after Jack quit, after the second trade. It's not in here. I'm thinking it will be the top or in the second volume. This is so immaculately mapped in the order in which to read it. Even though I just covered that first miniseries that has all those number 1s in it, which was I don't even remember what that trade was called. All-Star Comics. It was a great one. It had a lot of good stuff in it. That's at the top. That's like the first 25% of the book. And then you got some Secret Files stuff. 3 short stories. Then JSA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the 5-issue Day of Judgment mini and the Day of Judgment Secret Files. So the next 6 chapters of that, or 7, 8, 9. There are 9 short stories from the Secret File. Then we get Hour Man. Then we get Young Justice. Then we get JSA 6, which is a single issue. It's a one and done. Martian Manhunter 18 and 19. That's exactly where I put it. Darkness. Then JSA 7, 8. And it goes on. It is. Mwah! What did I post on the internet? It is a completist nerd's perfect mapping of how he would read all the All-Star comics. All the 90s Justice Society. Every one of their appearances. Make sure everything's in there. You know, if it means I jump to a Batman, please continue to do so. It is so nerdy completist that I'm going to read it. I'm going to read that miniseries again. I will be posting about it again. Follow my post, please, please, please. And I will do an episode when I've done reading the whole thing. And I will have Kirby on because he got it too. And I'm hoping Dave gets it. I hope other people get it. I hope fans who liked it, I hope people get it because of and I want to hear what they think about it. I'm excited because it's such a beautifully put together book. And I haven't read a page of it. I mean, I've read everything in it except the Days of Judgment. So I'm excited. But I also want to read some more Six Gun. I want to read some G.I. Joe. I need to buy some Hellboy. I need to read that. I've got a bunch of stuff I want to read. There's the final House of M Omni's coming out. I'd like to reevaluate that. I liked it, but it's Bendis, and Bendis sometimes I love, sometimes I hate. But it is. But this JSA, it's a master. It's so intriguing to me that I'm so excited. So that's it. There's a lot of that for me, just telling you how good a book this looks. I think you need to look at it. I got it from In Stock Trades. In Stock Trades, I got that. The Junkyard Joe hardcover and Black Hammer at the End. So I have all the original run of Black Hammer now in trade form in some form or another. I'm probably going to upgrade to the softcover Omnis. It's anybody, I don't know. The libraries are a little big, but there are two I have autographed: the first volume and the Dr. Star, which is now Dr. Andromeda. So if he comes to GalaxyCon again, I will probably take the end in and have it. No, I'll take his Sweet Tooth in and have him autograph that, because I just left Jeff Lemire, and I can't wait for his to get his first issue of Justice Society. Oh my God, it's so good, and I think it's a very good follow-up to Justice the Johns one. And Johns one, we're gonna have an episode about that. I need to line up all the stars to get. I want specific guests before I do it, and I'll wait until I can make it happen. All right, folks, as always, thank you for following us. Please listen to Kirby next week. It's going to be great. And wish me luck on my dental work. 2 screws into my jaw. Ouchie. And as always, be safe, be smart, be kind to one another. Really, please. And read some comics. Read some Justice Society. I don't care where. Any kind. Be good.